we're going to win. And we're going to win a championship. Otherwise, why are we doing it?
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Thank you guys so much for joining us once again. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And if you're not new to the channel, welcome back. Really appreciate you guys jumping in with us. As you guys know, we had the scrimmage against the Rams yesterday, and we really, can't really wait to get into the show. So as usual, I got my girl Star in the building with me. How you doing tonight, sis?
What's up, everybody? Doing great, feeling great. Glad to be here tonight for another episode of StarChasers Girls Talk Ball. Y'all know when y'all come in to please like the stream. Please like the stream on both of our channels. Sis, if you could put our YouTube channels on there.
Got you.
I'm live on X. We're also live on YouTube. If you're on the X side, please come over to the YouTube. I appreciate your support on X, but please, I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel, so please come to the YouTube side and hit that like button. I'm gonna be posting my link right now, and that would really help out a lot. And please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channels. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank y'all.
Yes, facts. And if you guys are feeling extra nice tonight, please make sure you guys donate to our Cash Apps as well. They are located at the bottom of the screen. Like Sis said, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and the share button. And we about to jump into the show. And also shout out to everybody coming through in the chat.
Right,
already,
shout out
JVB Boy, also the Basement Boys. I think I heard you earlier in the spaces that your guy Nick was holding earlier, and I like what you was talking about. And I really appreciate you jumping in with us as well.
Yes, appreciate. Shout out to everybody. JV, one of our loyal supporters, the Basement Boys. I know it'll be more of you guys coming in, but I really appreciate you guys' support so much.
Yes, facts, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. I mean, as you guys, saw, we had the scrimmage against the Rams yesterday, and I think a padded practice over the weekend as well. But just kind of talking about things in general, we saw, what the guys have to offer. Just so far, it is just the first time, most of the first and second and third teams, but there's really, a chance to get a look at the first teams, going against another first team roster, the Rams coming in, as we saw, Sis looking very physical, ready to hit. We saw some of our guys being caught off guard, getting popped, getting right back up, nothing too bad, nothing too serious, but, we did see it was exciting to see the Cowboys squad go up against, someone who wasn't their own, right? I think Ashadi mentioned that. You kind of want that to kind of, ramp up the guys even further. It's one thing to go against, guys in your own squad, but it's a whole nother conversation when you're talking about going up against another team who's ready to also hit someone else, right? They've been hitting each other, for, some odd days, some odd weeks, right? Going back into the spring. So to be able to
Facts.
get kind of a different environment, a different feel in the air. You still have the feeling of football, the feeling of getting back, to each respective squad, but just, you just kind of get a different energy. These guys come in seeing someone else different across from them, lined up against them, and then now it's really about, Shadi mentioned matchups. That's what he's really looking about. When he looks at some of these young guys and even some of the vets too. Like he mentioned, like, hey, the vets may be used to, going up against other guys in scrimmage, but it's really about, okay, when you are, getting it down to the simple, basic play calling like that we're doing, like he's really looking at the effort. He's looking at how these guys show up in just these, in this type of environment. So just share some of your thoughts and, how are you feeling just so far? How from just in general, some of your thoughts, some things you noticed, maybe some things about what Shadi said, maybe some of the players, just trying to kind of give some of your thoughts and, how you're feeling right now.
Yeah. So, when I went back and watched the practice, because of course the reports was we couldn't run the ball, we couldn't stop the run, they were more physical than us and all of this stuff. So I feel like that's excuse my language, but y'all, to be honest, they say this shit every year. Every time we have a joint practice, we soft, we got out physical. I remember when we went against the Chargers 2 years ago, they were saying that same shit. We soft, we got out physical. And it's like, and when is the last time the Chargers and the Rams beat us? And it doesn't mean they can't beat us this year. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, like, in the same years where they said we were soft and that we sucked in preseason and at practice, we whooped those teams. The last time we played the Rams, we blew them out, and they were full strength. So I'm just saying. So, but anyway, I do feel like the Rams came in with a different intensity. It was almost like Sean McVay kind of played Shotty. And when I say he played Shotty, I think they talked like, okay, we're just going to be thudding. We're just going to be doing this. We're just going to be doing that. We're not really going to be game planning. And Shotty's like, yeah, that's what we're doing. And clearly the Rams came in there on some totally different time and energy. Clearly. Because you could tell when I rewatched the practices. Shout out to Law Nation. He posts the practices, and then when I also Tula plays Ty Cowboys, really appreciate y'all in here. Jay Worthy, shout out to you guys.
Yeah, shout out Jay Worthy. What's up, twin?
Really appreciate y'all. But yeah, so what was I saying? Basically, the intensity was different because I think Sean McVay played Shotty. I think Sean tried to act like they was just gonna come in here and we were just gonna do this little scrimmage. And clearly they was on a different type of time. They're hitting our players. They were actually tackling. We're supposed to be just thudding.
Yes.
They're actually tackling us.
Launching. We saw when Fant got, blown up. He got right back up, but it's like the dude is like literally going at him.
Exactly. Like, and I feel like Sean McVay pumped them up to do that.
Right.
I feel like they game plan. I feel like there was not necessarily game plan, but even when you look at the run, we're like, oh, we can't run the ball. We can't run the ball. When you looked at what they was doing, they was run blitzing. They were running some exotic pressure packages and all of this shit. Like, they was, to me, they were, I don't know if they were like installing a package or whatever, but it was just clear when I'm looking at I'm just speaking about the offense right now versus their defense.
Yeah.
They was on a completely different type of time. You know what I'm saying? And they were targeting, of course, they're targeting Nate Thomas. You have a guy who has not played a single NFL snap.
Correct.
Going against Jared Verse, who's one of the best young phenom pass rushers. I think he was a Pro Bowl last year. So it's like, what the hell did y'all expect to see anyways? Did y'all expect Nate Thomas to handle Jared Verse one-on-one?
Come on now.
Especially with the exotic fronts. They running wide 9. So the formations look so weird because it's like Nate Thomas, then Ferg, then Jared Verse way out here. So it was just a lot of BS going on. It was like Sean McVay, he came in there trying to prove points. Okay.
Right.
Whatever. Like, I guess y'all proved the point. I guess y'all won practice. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's what y'all was trying to win practice. So I guess y'all won. Y'all beat us. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it. I feel like they were using us as stunt dummies. Yeah, they were just stunting on us. They were pretty much just trying to embarrass. It clearly felt like we were on this type of time the Rams came in on a totally different type of time that clearly him and Shotty did not discuss. You could just tell in the intensity of the practice, like it wasn't the same, and it was catching the players off guard.
Yeah,
like the Cowboys are like, what the fuck? Like, what are y'all doing? Even that point when I saw it on Law Stream, when the guy hit Jalen Tolbert,
he literally thought he was blindsided. You could see the way he went down.
He was
blindsided,
and Dick was talking to the dude like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, so it just felt like the Rams came in there trying to prove points, and now the media is just running, rolling with it.
Right.
I don't think that it's anything to be. That's right, the Basement Boys. I just don't think it's anything to be overly concerned about, guys, because at the end of the day, it's just practice. And Shotty said we were not running plays. They were like, we didn't run plays. We were not running scheme. We're over here just trying to evaluate. Can we do this basic? Now, granted, should we have executed better? Yes, absolutely. I think we could have executed better on both sides of the ball. Yeah. But I did see a battle on both sides of the ball. I didn't see what some of the reports are saying, that we just got dog walked.
Right. And you could definitely see the Cowboys show fight. Even as practice went on, you could see the
intensity. Exactly, sis. You saw us pick up the intensity. It was just like at the beginning, what they were doing caught us off guard. That's why in the first offensive team period, it was sack.
Right.
Tackle for loss. Run stuff, because you could tell,
hardly any run games, anything. Even in our padded practices, I know it's against our own squad, but we were getting 4-yard, 5-yard gains with our running backs. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like you said, I think they came in, was kind of caught off guard, and then once they started getting the feel for the practice, okay, you guys on this type of time, okay. And even they said, at some point they switched to 11 to 12 personnel. Okay, let's get to back. Okay, we get into it. We're doing our basics, but let's get back to what we know. Let's go with our power players. Let's go with Pickens. Let's go with CD. Let's get them going. Let's get Turk going. You know what I'm saying? So let's get.
We started getting the guys going.
We got the home field advantage. Let's do what we're best at. Let's get you to adjust to us, as opposed to us trying to adjust to you. What you're trying to bring in with us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely with you on that. This is just like you said. And now that you say that, I'm with y'all, and I'm with the chat. It seems like the chat is really agreeing with you. Like
the chat is agreeing.
McVay, you know what I'm saying? McVay came in on something. Okay, like you said, they had one discussion, and all of a sudden you get on the field and you're pulling something different. Like you said, you can see a lot of Cowboys players being caught off guard. Like wow, like okay,
they come in there also. Yeah,
I just like that, and just kind of on that point, I do like that the Cowboys still didn't push it. Like they still listen to Shotty, like, hey, don't play to an edge, but don't cross the line. Like they still adhere to Shotty's lessons. Like, hey, we're gonna stay on our tempo. We're not gonna, even though they may be trying to push us, but we're not going to go to that level where we're trying to, strike back at them or do anything in retaliation, because we saw last year, with I think Huggins, pushing the player, pushing the coach, and that whole thing went viral. Like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? So I think I like that Shotty kind of kept our players on a kind of even keel type, hey, let's do our tempo. We're going to play our game, and at the end of the day, even Shotty said, hey, we're going to take it with a grain of salt. We're not fully running, we're not fully tackling. We hardly even want our guy to go to the ground. So why would I take this scrimmage that serious as you guys are blowing it up to be? So I'm definitely with you.
Exactly. And the media is like, because they always do this. The media always overreacts.
Right.
And they keep asking the coaches, and the coaches are like, listen, we did not game plan. We did not, we were just here trying to evaluate. Y'all act like we was out here, we're not in panic mode. Because we're not, Shotty said specifically, we're not showing plays. He was like, Sean McVay, they were showing all that exotic packages and shit, because he was like, the film is out on Sean McVay. The film is not out on me. So I have an advantage. It's my first year in running my offense. So I'm not showing them shit. And I'm not showing them in preseason either. So he said, expect more of the same. Expect more very basic, very vanilla. Because it did look, because I was like, are we running stop routes? And why aren't we stretching the field? Besides that one bomb by Joe Milton, which Shotty said he called that and he wasn't even supposed to call it. He was like, I just called it. Because he said, I got fed up with them, basically trying to tee off and bully us.
Right. And that's really what I love about Shotty. He's really open with what he thinks, how he feels, what he feels about his players, his coaches. He said he wants to lay all the cards on the table. So just like you said, I'm glad you brought that up. That he was pissed. He was pissed off. Look, man, okay, you guys trying to play me. Okay, let me show you not everything, but let me show you a little bit of maybe what some of my guys can do. Let me get Pickens involved. Okay, and I love this point. Shout out to Miss Aisha Morrison. I think she mentioned it on her and Sky show that when she was walking back through the crowd and some of the defensive players was talking about that number 9 out there, Kamate Turpin, you know what I'm saying, giving them problems, being a problem.
Turpin was giving them work.
Exactly. She heard defensive players saying like, hey man, that dude's a problem. So like, I'm glad that eventually Shani was like, I still ain't gonna give y'all too much. I ain't gonna let y'all give me too much out of myself, but I'm gonna show y'all a little bit of what I'm working with. And I know I may be a quote unquote first time head coach in this league, but I can't be not saying he can't be caught off guard, but he's like, look, I can't be played. I can't be, I'm saying, I'm gonna show you a little bit of what I'm working with so that way you guys don't think I'm just a rookie out here doing not knowing what I'm doing.
Exactly, because that's what they was trying to make Shotty seem like look at this dumbass rookie coach. He don't know what the hell he doing. We better go in there. We better show him like, sit y'all's asses down somewhere. The Rams, ain't nobody scared of the Rams. I don't give a damn about y'all Super Bowl y'all got in 2021 neither. Ain't nobody scared of the Rams. So just stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just how I feel about the practice. I do think that we started, like you said, and shout out to Angry Cowboys fan in the chat. Y'all know that's our guy. We love Angry. We need to do a collab with Angry too. We have done it on his platform, but on our platform. But shout out to Angry Cowboys fan. Y'all know if y'all haven't subscribed to them, subscribe to Angry. Please subscribe to him. He's a great Dallas Cowboys content creator. But see, this how we got our people in the chat because they agree. They saw what we saw, like clearly. But our wide receivers was tearing them up, every single one of them. And I think at the beginning of the practice period, yes, they got us. But at the end of the practice period, and when we actually ran one real run play, it was a huge game. It was a huge game. So it's like, guys, just okay. Like, don't really look too much into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, because they're doing things that we are not going to do because we're in a first year offense. So it's to our advantage not to show stuff. Yeah. And you just have to take that how you will. I know some people think that's bullshit. Some people think we need to start hitting the panic button, but I think it's dumb to hit a panic button over a scrimmage. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like, even preseason is not to win games.
Right.
Like, you're not trying to win games in preseason. You're trying to evaluate individual players and see who shows up, who can beat the guy in front of them, plain and simple.
Yeah, and I like another thing, just kind of piggyback off that note, is that Shotty mentioned, and I think we talked about this before, kind of leading up, to the camp and everything, but about our starters playing in preseason. He did kind of mention that it wouldn't necessarily be, starters playing in each game, but he mentioned that players may be getting snaps throughout the preseason. And I like that. And I like that.
That was a point that Shotty said. He said that there'll be a handful of players that won't play. I can guess Dak and CD maybe, but I think he probably does. I know Dak for sure. Everybody else, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I could see them putting a starting D line out there. I could see them letting the starting O line get reps because we do need reps.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
I would say all the running backs. If not, you know what I'm saying? I know we have
for sure ideas, the running backs. We need to
see the running backs. Yeah.
Facts, the running backs for sure because we can't evaluate them. You cannot evaluate the running game until we can actually tackle.
Right.
Because Shotty was like, is it a 2-yard gain? Is it a 4-yard gain? Is it a 10-yard gain? Like, how do you know? You
can
don't
they break
know.
Tackles? You know what I'm saying? They don't even know really they can even break tackles, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So we don't even know. We don't even know right now. So we really do have to evaluate them. And another thing is, guys, 2 of our running backs that was actually doing very well in camp are sidelined with injury, and Miles Sanders and Deuce. So you only really had 3 running backs out there
honestly.
to really evaluate. You know what I'm saying? And Maffa, our guy who we talked about when he came out of the draft, we really love Maffa, but he's an uphill battle because clearly, they already believe and have Javonte Williams. And we should talk about the depth chart, but we can get to that in a minute because I forgot about the depth chart. But I think ultimately, saw some good things, saw some things that need to improve. Shotty said we need to improve on pad level. I agree with that. He said we just got too high on our pads were too high. especially on the offensive, with the offensive line. That's how we kind of got beat on some of those runs. Said we didn't get any takeaways on defense. And we had a turnover and almost like two or three other ones. So he's like, we pretty much just need. Right, he's like, we just need to hammer in the details. Because y'all got to remember, guys, under Mike McCarthy, we didn't hammer in no damn details.
Right.
So this is new to our team, guys. Like, running the ball as much as we did shit, this is new. We didn't do this shit under Mike McCarthy. So the players have to learn to execute and implement the scheme. They have to learn it. You know what I'm saying? This is not something that we've been doing for the past 5 years. So it's going to take some getting used to, but we just got to stick with it. We can't divvy away from it. People are like, oh, we can't run the ball. Let's just air it out. No, that's not the solution.
That was already going all over the timeline today. Okay, depending on the pass game. It's like, that's what we were doing today in practice. I want to pull this comment that someone, I forget who mentioned it earlier about, we were coming in to establish the run game, but the Rams came in trying to win practice. I forget who said it in the chat, but, and Jay Worthy, they say we're actually trying to start off, not necessarily all the way back down to the basics, but we're trying to, start off getting our pace going, get our conditioning going in the game. And with them coming out fast, I think one of the first few plays, they went to Devontae Adams, down the field, getting Tutu Atwell involved. And it's like, like you said, it's just two different, like I said, shout out to 2 Wide. Like you said, it's like one team was doing install and the other one is really trying to hammer out their details of their scheme. So it's just two different pages.
Yeah, it was they were just on 2 totally different pages. Exactly. And I agree with that 100%. Like we're trying to work on the details. We're trying to get to executing the run game, because the run game the run game, to make it work, everybody's got to participate.
Right.
That's the difference from passing game, because you're just responsible for pretty much running your route and getting open at the right time. But when you're running the ball, everybody has to execute blocks, from the linemen to the tight ends to the wide receivers. So it's going to take more time for us to gel and get chemistry in the run game to actually see it get a flow. And the only way you do that is just to keep practicing it. So we're doing something new. We're trying to get out there and implement this new scheme. So we have to give it time to work. We can't just say, okay, let's just air that bitch out. Okay, we can air it out, but we already know where that leads.
Facts.
We already know where that leads.
New and like you said, actually stick with it instead of giving up so quickly after a scrimmage. You guys are already ready to go to the pass game.
Let's just throw it in the trash. That doesn't make sense. And everybody knows that the run game will help CD and will help the Pickens and will help the offensive line, because when a team doesn't know you're passing it, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to run block.
Yeah,
I mean, to pass block. It makes a hell of a lot easier to pass block. So,
and on that note, I'm already seeing some improvements, even although we don't have a Tyler Guyton out there, although we saw limited snaps from Tyler Smith too, and I know Steele's coming back from being out for a little bit, but I saw some improvements. I saw our linemen pulling. I saw BB out there, making the lane for Jadon Blue. You know what I'm saying? Even Nathan Thomas, he was getting beat off the edge sometimes. He was showing some improvement. So I just
we saw some good things, but the media says they just don't never focus on. That's why I have a love-hate relationship with the media. I'm trying not to go after the media so much. The other day, I ended up going after my guy Joe on accident. I went after him on accident because he had put out their report about Shotty said Jalen Tolbert was wide receiver 3, and I'm like, no, but I didn't even know it was Joe that put it out. I just started seeing it on my timeline, and so I spoke out against it. I found that it was Joe, and I just deleted it because I was like, hell no, I value Joe, and I know Joe didn't do that on no snake disingenuous shit. But there are media members out here that they just live to, just like Jerry, they live to create drama. They live to overreact.
I'm telling you, man. Like that so-called article of Diggs falling in practice when all of a sudden it was just a somersault when the real report came out. That's why I'm like, they're so quick. They want to be so quick and trying to get the story out first, and it's like, turns out it wasn't even a fall. And it's like,
that wasn't even a fall.
All you want to do is create a click storm. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes these clickbait articles, I understand what you
Right.
guys want, but sometimes that news is number one unnecessary, and sometimes it's unwarranted, really, because it's just like, why do you need the extra drama? I think as Cowboys fans, we're thriving, so just have strictly football, to have football information
Right. We just
coming
want
to us, not the
football.
drama
But they
exactly. But that's what
always
they
feeding
want.
these narratives. Yeah, they want the drama. They want Shoddy to fail. One of my followers just tweeted that out. He was like, I see what it is now. These people don't believe in Shoddy.
Right.
The media don't believe in Shoddy. They
No.
they would love for Shoddy and all they needed was one iffy practice to start putting out. Shoddy don't know what he doing.
Right.
We
Right.
can't run the ball. Is this team really talented?
Right.
Now they putting out like basically that Booker may be a bust. Like,
Right. Y'all, they no. Let's be real. Since they putting out articles
Like,
that we're not going to be good because Shawty's wearing his visor backwards.
like this shit is
Really a
getting
thing?
too
Is
much.
that really a thing?
Yeah,
Like, it's not that serious.
It's not a thing. The shit is getting ridiculous, but they just it gets up my nerve. But anyway, we can share some of these clips just to show some of the positives. And that's the thing I hate about the media as well. They always saying shit, but then where's the proof? And then I'm seeing in the clips, they be talking about shit that it's like, that would be an incompletion, or that would be a tackle for loss, or that would be a sack, or you're not even paying attention. You're talking about George Pickens, but look at how the offensive line dominated. Like, the media is not. You have to be careful with just looking at media clips and listening to what they say, because they are trying to put out certain narratives, and they just keep saying the same things over and over and over and over again. And you will begin to believe them. You will start to believe them, and you'll start to throw out your eyes and say, let me put in whoever this media member's eyes. Let me put his eyes in. And you don't want to be like that as a fan, because they're going to start, just like ESPN and Fox, if you keep listening to certain narratives, they're going to change the way that you view your team.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with what they're saying and how they're doing. I even see clips where because it's clear the media has an agenda against Mozzie, right? Because everybody hates Mozzie, so he's a trigger word for everybody. So there could be a run play, Mozzie did his job, or Mozzie's getting held, but they'll say, "Oh, big gain here from Jadon Blue. Looks like this person got Mozzie out of the way," and it's like,
I think I know what you're talking about. I think there was a clip of Mozzie going up against BB, and the way they worded it was BB. Well, BB was able to hold off Mozzie, and it's like, no, like Mozzie was able to get BB up out of there. He almost had him in a chokehold. But okay, I see what y'all, like you said, like it's the way you guys word it. Sometimes it's just like
it's just the way it's worded, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't think everybody's intent is malicious. Like my guy Joe, I don't think his intent is malicious. And even when I would post something, Joe will like her. He'll say, "You know what? You right, Star. Like you right. That wasn't it." So I don't think, because Joe takes accountability, that's why I F with Joe. But these other media members, they know what they doing.
Yeah.
They know what they doing, and they do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, even today, I was listening to White Cotton's interview, and they're asking him, what does Mozzie need to improve on, all of this stuff. Like, they're trying to get White Cotton to openly critique Mozzie in the media. Of course, White Cotton avoided it. He was like, Mozzie's great. He takes accountability. He doesn't buy into the narratives. He doesn't blame things on his teammates or the media. But you could tell, like, they're fishing.
Yeah.
They're fishing for quotes. They're fishing for bulletin board material, because the whole narrative now is that Mozzie sucks and that Jay Toyia is better than him.
Right.
And Jay Toyia. But remember let's remember last year. Remember when they were saying Justin Rogers was better than Mozzie? Y'all don't remember that last year?
Yep.
All y'all's favorite media members, they kept saying, Mozzie sucks. He doesn't look good. Justin Rogers is way better than him. He's way better than him. Justin Rogers is not even in the league right now.
even when they were searching for free agents, when they were bringing in guys through free agency, they say, "Oh well, it must be a problem with Mozzie. Mozzie's not the answer. Mozzie can't do this. Mozzie can." It's like he needs a veteran there to be able to take him underneath his wing. We see the improvement with other players on the team when the veteran comes in. So why not? Why doesn't it not apply to the DT position? You know what I'm saying, you bring in a veteran, but all of a sudden it's because Mozzie is a problem. But you bring in Eric Kendricks, you don't see them hollering that Maris Leofow is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like sometimes the narrative doesn't always follow.
Right, the narrative. If you have a certain guy, like a media favorite, fan favorite, Jack Sanborn. So Jack Sanborn can miss his block, read the wrong hole. They ain't gonna say shit about Jack Sanborn. You will not see a tweet critiquing Jack Sanborn because the media and the fans love Jack Sanborn. So they're not gonna critique him. And the Basement Boys, I agree with Jay. Jay, to me, Jay has good plays, great plays, and he has plays where it's like, that's not so good. He's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to know Jay has a lot of promise, but he's developing, guys. He's developing. And the problem is when you put all of this, when you put all of that of the weight on Jay, then y'all gonna turn on him when y'all start seeing him getting pushed.
Right.
And it's not that he's bad, it's just that he's developing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we've been looking at Jay and he's looked really good in some clips. He's also not looked great in some clips. So every player on this team is striving to get better. No matter if you're penciled in as a starter or you're literally the bottom of the depth chart. Everybody is trying to develop and get better. Everybody's trying to get better.
I'm just kind of piggybacking off. I think it also kind of goes hand in hand with how the Cowboys sometimes handle things. They look for, one player solutions. They look for CD being the sole answer, and he doesn't need help. Dak has CD, and that's it. No, he needs more than that. You can't stop the run with one sole player. Okay, Mozzie can't do it by himself. Oh, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? You need multiple weapons to attack a problem.
Right?
The Cowboys sometimes leave it up to being a one player solution when you need multiple answers. You need to have competition in the room, but you can't come down to one person. It needs to be multiple players contributing to be able to solve the problem.
Thank you, sis. And I'm gonna do a show. Y'all look on the lookout for. I'm gonna do a fire show. Me and Coach Marv gonna do a show because just like in the and shout out to my guy Lou. Shout out to Lou.
Facts.
Y'all know how much we love and value Lou. He's been on our platform, I think once or twice. So shout out, but y'all know, shout out to Lou, one of the best great content creators, and has helped me and Mickey out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So really appreciate Lou so much for being in the chat with us. But when you talk about running the ball, remember I talked about running the ball, it's a full team effort. It's not individual. It's the same thing with stopping the run. It's not just on the DT. The linebackers got to feel. They got to read correctly. Exactly. The safeties got to come up and help. Everybody has to be helping. Mm-hmm. Stop. The edges have to keep contained. Like, everybody has to do their job. It's not just on one person. Yeah. Like, I don't understand that. And when y'all put it on one person, there was a key example. There was y'all remember the Ravens game? It was another viral clip of Mozzie. Mozzie always. Anytime Mozzie fuck up, you better make sure that clip is people gonna start circulating it. Right. So Mozzie got pushed out of the gap, and everybody focused on Mozzie like, damn, Mozzie sucks. But it's like, did y'all not see how Donovan Wilson was in the complete wrong gap?
We can't even talk about Donovan Wilson 2024 campaign for real. And we talking about players who didn't live up to their expectations, their job. I'm saying Mozzie was not the only one not performing last season, y'all.
Like, I promise you, it's not. And it's like, this fool went in the wrong, so many times, linebackers and safeties in the wrong gap. So yeah, I know Mozzie got pushed, but that shit should have been a 5-yard gain, not a touchdown.
Right.
So you understand what I'm saying? Like, everybody it's not just Mozzie's job to stop the run. Right. It's the whole entire defense's job to stop the run. Like, I don't know. People trying to give Osa's excuse. Oh, well, Osa, we just paid him to pass rush. I don't give a damn. We
No.
paid Osa to be one of the best defensive tackles in this league and to help us win football game. That's y'all's problem.
Facts.
You want to always take pressure off of this guy and that guy and this guy because y'all hate or y'all don't like a certain player. So y'all just zero in on that player, but everybody else just gets away, gets off free. And that's effed up. That's effed up to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold everybody accountable. This is what we talk about with Dak. Like, yeah, Dak makes his mistakes, but what about CD? What about the offensive line? What about Tober? What about everybody else?
Right.
What about the defense? The running back.
They put it on Dak, but Lipke, I don't think you held that ball at that goal line. You feel me? Tony Pollard, you couldn't score. You know what I'm saying? So they don't talk about that. They don't talk about that in those moments. It always goes on Dak.
Thank you, Chris Johnson. He says a lot of times the run would be way outside. They still blame
Some edges, man.
He's exactly angry. It masks accountability. Like, hold everybody accountable. But Mozzie is just their hot button name. So everybody, he up out of there. Yeah, he gone. It's like, no, he's not.
No,
it's just ridiculous.
Support system, and that's why they brought in. That's why they brought in other guys. That's why they drafted
Solomon Thomas.
That's why they brought in
exactly.
That's why they brought in Aaron Whitecotton to kind of revamp this whole line. You feel me? So it's just like it takes more than one person. You know what I'm saying? I think that, and I think it lies on coaching too. Like I mentioned, Aaron Whitecotton, and then just to kind of flip, not necessarily put the offensive side, but just kind of give an example. Like I think we're seeing, talk about receivers a little bit because we saw a lot of receivers kind of go off in the scrimmage. I got this kind of a point brought up by 2Y. I'm not sure if she mentioned it in the spaces or if she mentioned on her and Sky show, but she mentioned about them bringing in Junior Adams. You know what I'm saying? And then I think it's kind of not only improved, CD Lamb, of course, our guys Pickens, of course, Turp, those guys have the talent, but we're also seeing other guys step up as well. We're seeing Jalen Brooks, improve. We're seeing Mingo, get in there and do his thing. Flournoy, you know what I'm saying? Like we're seeing almost pretty much all our receivers, even Cropper, although he's been a practice squad guy, you know what I'm saying? So, sometimes a guy who may be forgotten, a camp, really a camp star, some preseason guy, but even he's still showing some highlights in camp, some flashes in camp. So I think it's something to be said about them, the improving in coaching, not just bringing in better players, but sometimes that coaching can make that slight difference in the entire room, not just the top 2 or 3 players, but the entire room can get better. And that way, when you do, and then you also, of course, bring in the Joe Milton, who can also get the ball to these players. Some of those things kind of go hand in hand. So now you're kind of seeing not just the top guys in that room as far as wide receivers improve, but I think, it's in my opinion, we're seeing almost a lot of these guys improve. You know what I'm saying? As far as pass catching, even the tight ends too. We're seeing Fant, get a little bit more opportunities. Although we know Brevin's, Brevin Spanford is down right now. John Stevens is still coming back, but we're seeing a lot of. I think, in my opinion, a lot more guys, a lot of receivers and tight ends wise, kind of being involved. And I think that kind of has, I know Luna Wells did return, but we know, he's an excellent coach. We know how much he loves his guys, but I think it's something to be said about them bringing in Junior Adams, who does have a close relationship with Holden, Trayshawn Holden, who's having a great camp as well. So to see this much really variety in the room, like the wide receivers, but to see all the guys kind of be able to contribute, whether it's first or second team, I think it's amazing for a wide receiver room, but also for a quarterback room too, because you can kind of see on both sides, these guys getting the development they need, and also in preseason we'll actually be able to hopefully see what these guys can actually offer for our team.
I agree with that. 100%. We started talking about wide receivers. This was a good play by Pickens, made that contested catch and got the yak off of it.
Oh, right, exactly.
That's why I'm so excited for Pickens, because we finally got some dogs out there. And I see y'all in the chat talk about Tober. Now, we got to be honest, that pop that Tober got popped, that was a blindside hit. Correct. If you came in late, y'all can go back and listen to our thoughts on that, because it was a blindside hit. Yeah. I do think that Tober does need to get better. He needs to get better as far as physicality and attacking the ball. Yeah. But I mean, that's the same. If we can talk about Tober, but let's talk about Turpin as well. One of the reasons why Turpin probably cannot be for sure our wide receiver 3 is because although he can get open with his quickness and speed,
Yeah.
he can't make contested catches.
Right.
He can't make contested catches. So
Right. We've seen that.
That's not a caught by Turpin.
Mm-hmm.
There was a laser that Dak threw to him in this practice, even though Turpin went off in this practice, but Dak tried to throw him a contested ball, Turpin dropped it. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's not forget last year versus the 49ers.
Facts.
Dak went to Turpin.
I think the Steelers too. Then they go deep down on the sideline. The Steelers game. It's like that's just not Turpin's game.
It's not Turpin's game. He's just not a contested. So that's a reason why we're gonna use Turpin for sure. His Turpin has unsure hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Like we're gonna for sure use Turpin. Hell yeah, he's an excellent weapon. But we have to use him as a gadget guy in we have to use him in various different ways to get him going. But if you tell Turpin line up and just play wide receiver in the NFL and try to do contested catches and moving through traffic and take on hits, you're kidding yourself. He's just not going to do this.
Sure, just last year, I know he had that big, return against Washington, you know what I'm saying? I was there, but it started off with him dropping the ball, you feel me? And I was nervous in that moment. So, sometimes he turns hands, even not just wide receiver wise, but special teams too. Sometimes we saw him make, some of dropping the ball or returning the ball. Sometimes a guy would punch it out and he had to recover it on his own. So yeah, even now, like I love Turpin. That was always, at least for me, sometimes I'm sure with Cowboys Nation, a knock against Turpin, either his hands or a little bit too antsy to make the play, and sometimes he just kind of gets ahead of himself. But I definitely see him, getting, kind of settle into himself, and he's definitely coming into himself. I love what he can
absolutely
possibly contribute to this team. But I'm glad, and I'm just so grateful for Shadi just in this aspect because we can finally, hopefully this year, see what Turpin can fully contribute to this team. Because I know the previous season, Mike McCarthy, he would get him involved here and there, and I thought that was his guy, and I'm sure that was his guy. We saw them hug on the sideline; they were close, but I'm sure there was a whole bunch going on for McCarthy. But it's just we never saw that full utilization of Turpin. So I love Shadi for this. I love Shadi, and for us to see it early, we're not going into the season questioning whether or not we're going to get the full use of Turpin.
Right. I love the fact that Shadi said we feel like we're getting a better feel on exactly how can we use him to make sure that he is a great part of our offense. And I love that. Like good coaches figure out ways to get all their players involved.
Exactly.
Not just some. You figure out a way. If a player has talent, you figure out a way to maximize that talent. Mm-hmm. This was the run that I was talking about as far as when we actually run. No, this is Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
So this is the run I was talking about, y'all. Like this was our actual real schemed up run, and y'all can see. Look at me. Total domination. So that's what I'm saying. Just don't panic too much, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a scheme. We're developing. No, it's not perfect. Yes, I see Tolbert there. People been pointing out that he kind of holds a little bit at the end, so maybe that would have been called back. But Tolbert, I believe he just had his hands on him, but he needs to don't practice that way. Don't even practice that way. Like, cause there's no reason. There's no reason at all for Tolbert to even be holding him at all. He's completely out of the play.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, I feel like that was a good run, and that's executed physicality. Like y'all don't know how happy I am to see this shit because we tried this stuff under Mike McCarthy and it just looked a mess. It looked a mess. Yeah. But I see Ferguson sealing. I see BB pulling around.
Right. You see, I think that's Bass. Is that Bass on the left taking that dude out just completely pushing him out the club? It's like
probably.
I couldn't see his number at first, which was his angle, but I'm like, who is that left guard? Because my god,
I think it's either Bass or Hoffman. But we getting these guys up out of there, guys. So it's like just know that we're working. That's all that matters, guys. A scrimmage, as much as we would like to win, practice. There is no, we can't win practice. You know what I'm saying? We need to worry about actually winning football games. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what actually matters. So, and I'm just showing y'all some clips. You know what I'm saying? Because even I want to show this clip of the defense with Troy Pride, because I know Troy Pride got cooked by Devontae Adams, which is like, well, what the hell do y'all expect? You know what I'm saying? Y'all really expect Troy Pride to shut down Hall of Famer Devontae Adams. Can y'all be serious? Y'all see how crazy that sounds? That sounds so crazy. Like, y'all really thought that Troy Pride, a practice squad player
who just came on last season,
was going to shut down Devontae Adams, like, and Puka Nacua. Come on, guys. These are all pro. Devontae Adams is a Hall of Famer. Puka Nacua, the way his career set up, he on the road to be that if he continues on the tear that he's been on. Mm-hmm. So it's like, come on, guys. But I did want to show this because this is shit you don't see. You know, you see Troy Pride getting cooked, but you don't see when he get a pass breakup.
Okay.
So this is what I'm saying.
He might be one of the things. I mean, I know our DB room is down bad, but that may make room for him because he's definitely he could be a sneaky pick for a starter or at least a backup guy.
Right, exactly. Because he's been making plays, and it's like, am I saying he's a starter or anything like that? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that he looks to be a guy with talent and a guy out there that's making plays, and he's battling and has the right mindset of a corner that says, okay, so what? He beat me on that D route. Beat me again. So that's the type of mindset that you need from a corner. You need a corner that has short memory and that continues to fight. I feel like that's all you can ask for from your team is that they continue to fight. Like, I did not see us out there. I don't care what nobody say. Like, I watched the unedited practice. I watched the practice put on the Dallas Cowboys website. Mm-hmm. We was not out there just getting completely and totally total dominated. And that's why I went through and put out these clips.
Malik Hooker inching up, showing blitz here.
Let me mute that. But I put out these clips to see, no, they were not just running all over us. And this is the first team defense.
Right.
Yes, did Kyron Williams get that big run that they made go viral over and over again? Yes, they did. He did. But this is also us right here stopping Kyron Williams.
Right.
Did he get a big game there? No, he didn't. He didn't get a big game.
Even Damone Clark, he showed it. I'm proud of him. He had a great scrimmage.
Malik Hooker, Sanborn. You see Jay Toyia and Mozzie on the field at the same time, both beating their blocks right off the rip. Mm-hmm. Like, did you see? I didn't see Mozzie get blocked there. I didn't see Jay Toyia get blocked there.
Right. Marquise Bell was showing it. They said he was going back and forth with McVay on the field. You know what I'm saying? So, and McVay was giving him props. You know what I'm saying? That said something. He was just coming off injury into this camp. So to see him still showing up, you know, he showed his heart, you know, a couple of years ago when he played linebacker as a safety. So to see him still showing up, you know, so I'm happy for Marquise. But I think I said, you know, weeks and weeks ago, you know, before we really started talking, you know, football, you know, camp. But I wanted, you know, to see how much of a chance they would give Bell. You know, they would have him step up, you know, with the safeties, how much they would have him playing on the field, and to see him taking advantage of opportunities. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for him, and I hope that'll hopefully solidify a spot on this team for him because he's definitely given a lot, you know, to the Cowboys, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, him and Wanye for sure are going to be on the team. I wish they could be starters, but.
Yeah,
you know the politics because somehow Malik Hooker, he definitely ain't moving because he's a Flu's favorite, and we just can't seem to get rid of Dono no matter what we do. But shout out to Battle Cowboys,
bro, sis. Like, I don't think I've seen Dono on as much Cowboys media ever in any year that Mark McCarthy's been here. I see Dono on the interviews, on the 40-second when they answering the quick questions. I'm like, I've never seen Dono even do interviews, period, in previous seasons. Now he's like everywhere on DallasCowboys.com. I'm like, I'm happy for you, but I'm like you said, I don't think unless they maybe week 8 somehow, some way they figure out maybe trade value for him. But yeah, I don't see him leaving the team anytime soon.
Exactly. And it's like, guys, y'all also have to look at this. Like, I like what the interior of the trenches did here. I think this is Denzel Daxon. He was 95, and then that's Tommy Aking-Basote. Like, you have to realize that stopping the run is not pretty. Like, somebody could watch this clip and be like, "Oh, the D tackles lost." No, they didn't lose. They held up their blocks, flowed to the ball.
Right, and Aking-Basote get up in there. I love seeing him, man. I love seeing that because we really didn't hear much from him.
Stop. Exactly, which was a stop. That's what I'm saying. You have to look in because see, you're not gonna get tweets of this clip. You're not going to get tweets of this. That's why I have to go in and watch the practices myself and watch every single snap to see, okay, was we out there really just couldn't stop a nosebleed? And you can clearly see that's not the case.
Right.
Two of the new
Right.
additions to this.
And even Shotty, one thing I took note on from his presser, he really praised the linebackers. He mentioned, of course, we mentioned Clark. I think, and these are my opinions, still to show that his ability to be able to attack the ball, and I think he showed good ball awareness on the field. Same thing with Sanborn. I know he was having some iffy things, but he was making some tackles there too. He was, making his fits. Leah Fowl showing his speed, still punching at the ball. So I'm loving our second level. Our second level has really improved. And 2 years ago, Cowboys Nation, we know we were literally on thin, if non-existent linebackers. One guy in the room, Jerome Clark. And to now see this, to see this 180, what I'm saying, a couple years later, bring in, and hopefully we'll be able to see, of course, as preseason goes on, see more from Kenneth Murray, because he got in there a little bit too. I don't know if he saw a lot of them popping up the page, but I'm glad that he's, getting back into the group. I'm glad he's back.
Right. He was on Kenneth. He's here in this clip. He was on limited snaps. Okay. Because he, as Shotty had spoke about that, they're just getting him ramped up because he was out for a while because I think his wife or girlfriend had a baby. So they're just getting him back ramped up. But even in this clip, you can clearly see Mozzie pushing the pocket back. You know what I'm saying? Because in this clip, Osa takes on the double team, then Mozzie's one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? This is a clip where we just talked about Sanborn. Sanborn almost got the pick here. I'm not really sure.
Right, he comes across right there. Yeah, he's like a flash in that clip right there. Yeah.
And he just missed it. So,
and also in that clip too, you can kind of see like you just saying like they get Murray kind of ramped up. You can see it change the direction. His footwork is still crisp. So I like how he's coming along.
Facts, he's coming along. So it's like everybody is developing.
Training camp against.
This is another fill in, doing the run fits and stuff like that. That was a good stop from Bell there. Who was the DTs? Okay, this is Thomas and so this is our first team defense again.
Yeah.
But you can clearly see Donovan Ezeraku probably would have got a stop there if he could tackle.
Right.
But we're not doing tackling.
And there was one clip they credited Sanborn for getting the tackle, but actually it was Donovan Ezeraku who came in and slid in there and got his hand. I don't know if it was this clip, but you can kind of see him tackle. I think there was. You can see 41. Donovan can kind of get his hand on the running back before he gets through that hole.
Yeah, so, right. Like that should have been right. He's quick and he plays a run very well, so that should have been a stop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Right.
So
I'm loving that.
I'm loving it. I'm loving that the players, the safeties, are what I'm seeing is a lot of a more aggressiveness from our safeties that I was not seeing under. Even though we like Zim, the safeties were not playing well under Zim.
Right.
I mean, that's just what it is. They were not playing well. Yeah. They were not helping stop the run. They weren't coming up and filling. They weren't doing shit. So, the fact that I see the safeties, I've been hearing Malik Hooker's name a lot this camp. It seems like they're really buying into the fact that, I'm supposed to also help stop the run. I'm not supposed to just sit here and stand here. So I'm really glad that it seems like it's all coming along. You know what I'm saying? I think that, and Murray, you can see in the clip, he's very, very quick. You know what I'm saying? He ends up cutting off. You can see the running back was trying to go to, I don't know what gap that is, but he cut him off and the running back had to end up turning it back inside and turned it right back into, I think that was Bell, Marquise Bell. So anyways, guys, I know we lost some battles. I know Kyron Williams had a big run and Devontae Adams, got our secondary on a couple plays and stuff like that. But, I'm showing those clips to show that we didn't get completely dominated out there. You know what I'm saying? We did not get completely dominated. The clips do not show that. I've watched Laws practice. I've watched the practice clips that they put on DallasCowboys.com. Those clips that I show are directly from DallasCowboys.com. So, and sis, you showing something? Turpin.
Yeah, I just want to show. Yeah, because I know we spoke earlier on wide receivers, but it's not just about Turpin. I kind of want to show this clip because shout out to Patrick O.C. Walker. He actually took this clip in slow motion, but I just want to make this just quickly how even just halfway through the play, almost before Dak even throws the ball, but right there you see Mingo in front, you see separation. If you look over to the tight end, I think that's Fant. I know he kind of put, not necessarily pushes his guy out, but he gets separation by coming in, shipping the guy, and you see about a couple yards in between him and his defender. And then when you go up and you see Turk almost catch the ball, you see separation again. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something I want to point out right quick. And it's just like I mentioned earlier with our wide receiver, new coach coming in, just helping all of our guys in that room. We talked about before about McCarthy scheming these guys open. I know it's scrimmage, but we see 3 examples right here. You know what I'm saying? Even when these guys do have defenders draped on their backs, they're still making catches. The tight ends, you see Jake Ferguson, John Stevens Jr. caught a couple passes that was caught a couple aggressive passes, but that's just one thing. Like I said, shout out to OC making this in slow mo, because that's the first thing I noticed was the separation. Because I think I tweeted this a couple weeks ago about Mingo. I love his instinct for some reason. For me, that's kind of why, at least for me, the edge over Tolbert is that when he catches the ball, he wants to turn and run. Yes, he wants to turn and run. I just love that. I feel like it's in his mind. Like, okay, I want to get the extra. I want to get the extra yardage. I want to turn up. I want to get this guy off me. I want to get some more. You know what I'm saying? I want to make the play. Like that's saying.
He gets open. He gets open. And Dak spoke about that specifically. He was like, he's getting open a lot, and we saw that on film. We saw that on film last year that he was getting open. You know what I'm saying? It's just that Cooper Rush couldn't really hit him, so that's why it is exciting. This is a good clip of Perion, because when we look at the official. I'm gonna show this clip, and then we can talk about the depth chart, and then we can I can get out of here, because we can't do no long show today, guys. Sorry, I gotta get off of here. But
no, you're good.
Looking at this, another guy is Perion Winfrey, who's number 99. I like the fire and the energy that he plays with. We have him listed as a one tech for us. Look at Sam Williams too. I'm excited for Sam Williams.
Me too, man. Like he's already on that fire, man.
Sam Williams look like he ready to kill something. Look what he doing, that guy. He ready to kill somebody.
When everybody was running to the sideline, he just like smoked by like all the players. I'm like, bro, he is fast as I don't know what, man. Like for real.
He's coming fresh off of ACL. Like he's just another thing.
That was crazy.
And I saw what you said, Stephen White. You were like, if they get another vet, that means that they don't trust or believe in Mozzie. No, that's not what it is. We're in a high rotation front, so you need depth behind Mozzie, period. Even if Mozzie was, according to people's standards, all world, all pro, we would still have to have adequate, actual good depth behind him, because we run an attack front. So these guys are going to be on rotations. They're not going to be like Zim, because Zim was a defensive coordinator that he pretty much kept the same guys out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But under Fluce's scheme and White Cotton's scheme, even I love what I see from Damone here. Damone has been showing up.
Yes.
He's been reading. He's been shedding blocks. I remember Damone. Y'all remember Damone in that Bills game? In 2023, they're not no more. You see that from Damone? I see Damone attacking, reading, feeling, taking on blocks. Look at that block he just shedded. That's a big old either a DT or a tight end trying to get him. Damone's like, no.
and I've noticed that on both sides of the ball, the player's ability to shed tackles. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I've noticed the same thing with Schoonmaker. Like I know that was, he's been there, I'm sorry, not tackle, but be able to shed blocks. Because Schoonmaker has kind of improved in that way, in my opinion, that way too. And so in the wide receiver as well, they still need to improve. But that's something I know from both sides of the ball with shedding blocks. They're definitely getting better.
They're shedding blocks better. And, our guys, what we really need to work on, offensive line and tight ends and wide receivers, is sustaining blocks better, because we win the initial block, but we struggle to sustain blocks, and that's how you can see runners and stuff getting caught from behind, because a lineman or a tight end or a wide receiver failed to sustain their block. So I feel like that's what the offensive line and the wide receivers and the tight ends really got to work on, is really sustaining blocks, and for the defense, it's all about them shedding blocks. Like, you see Damone here. You got to be able to get off blocks.
Facts.
You can't just be up here
And
getting blocked out and get downhill. You got to be able to, because you're going to a DT, they're going to take up 1 or 2 blocks, but bro, you still going to have to go through the rest of the offensive linemen to get to the ball carrier.
Right, exactly.
Sometimes you're not going to get there speed wise, so that means you're going to have to use physicality to get to the ball carrier.
Yeah.
It's not gonna always just be a clean hole. You got to be able to shed blocks. And so, what was I gonna say? Oh, you know what? We had him on the thumbnail. We didn't even talk about Micah.
Oh, Micah.
I'm not gonna share the dumb shit Jerry said, but there was a tweet put out. Let me see if I can find it. I think I bookmarked it. Where is it at? Yeah, here you go. Here's a tweet. Oh, I stopped sharing my screen. My bad. We're going to talk about this, kind of look at the depth chart, and get off of here. But anyway, Aaron Donald added, Micah said, if Micah Parsons goes to the Ram, I might have to call whoever that is and get in football shape. With that D-line would be unreal. Then here go Micah replying, oh man, Aaron Donald, don't tell me info like that at David Mugiletta. So
come on, man. See,
and then this is Micah in a Rams jersey.
Oh my gosh! I was wondering where you get that picture from. I'm like, hold up now. I know it ain't got that far now. Ooh, oh my gosh! Wow, that almost made me like. Look, I ain't lying. When I saw the trade request, first of all, like that had just got off work. I'm trying to catch up on the news, and I'm like, what's going on? Like trade? What? Like I didn't know what to do. So just this whole Micah saga going on. Of course we're all hoping and praying and assuming that a deal will get done. But yeah, this whole thing going on is
this whole thing is a mess. Is a mess.
Yes, yes.
I'm really hoping and praying, and I believe that it is going to get resolved. I do know there's some dumb reporters out there that always think that he breaking news, and it's like,
right.
I want it. Yeah, the Micah Parsons trade request was not a joke. Nobody thought it was a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So breaking news.
And also, here come the articles. What would these trade packages look like? What would they look like? What would you get from Micah? What would you ask for Micah?
You see how they start putting it out? Because it's just dumb. But it's like, I don't think that Micah is going to get traded. I do think that Micah is taking this personal, but that's usually how it goes on your first contract. When your team is delaying paying you, you are taking it personal. So Jerry going to have to give him some extra money, bonuses, incentives. I don't know.
Something. Get your best player out there, Jerry.
Right. But Jerry, it's time to pay Micah. They're going to pay him, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's time to pick up the phone, because really what's happening now is it's a stand down. Micah's team saying we done called Jerry and them twice. They're not picking up the phone. So it's like, Jerry, pick up the phone and make a call and stop this nonsense. It's ridiculous.
And they even going through the media. Like usually they don't do that all the time. Usually you're not supposed to go through the media, but they had to go through that because they wouldn't answer the phone. It's like,
exactly, sis. They had to go through the media. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Micah didn't want to request a trade or no shit like that. But when Jerry is doing dumb shit, it forced their hand. When Jerry is just simply not picking up the phone, it forced their hand to request a trade because Micah wants to get on the field.
Yes, he's doing whatever it takes to get out there with his guys.
Right. Micah not practicing is hurting him. He needs the reps too. He needs to be able to get better too. And I don't care nothing about what the coaches say. They're going to say, oh, he's a pro's pro. He's going to be ready. Yeah, they said that same shit about CeeDee Lamb. Exactly. And we saw how him and Dak was off. Like, no, bro, they need the reps. They need to feel, they need to get hit. Yeah. They need to get in football shape. Yeah. And him just being out there in sweats and tennis shoes is not going to get it done. But when we look at, so that's pretty much what I got to say on that. I do think Michael would get paid, but we just have to expect to see more shit. You're going to see more graphics of Micah in other jerseys. Facts. You're going to see people putting out trade packages. You're going to see Micah continue to play the media game. So, you know, don't be surprised if you see him like a tweet that says Micah Parsons to the Bengals or whatever.
Right.
Like, he's gonna play this media game until he gets his money, as he should. Point blank, period. Like, he needs to get his money. He can't. And shout out to Dak, because some people were saying, well, when's Dak gonna speak up? Dak spoke up. Y'all can better believe anytime Dak needs to say something, he's gonna go to Jory Epstein.
Right.
That's his plug. That's Dak's plug. So he went to Jory and he put it out. Like, absolutely, Micah's doing the right thing by not practicing. He was like, he cannot practice. Like, that would just not be smart, because he was like, if he gets hurt, that could ruin his career.
Thanks. And he even go further and explain the difference between him showing up to practice, him showing up to the camp, and Micah not showing up. He's like, look, man, like, I already have the pretty much, how they call it, the halo, pretty much around me. They're not gonna hit me anyway. So I already kind of had that safeguard around me to be able to show the practice. And I mean, if you will, I'm not saying this is what Dak said, but this is my opinion, but I'm sure it makes sense to him that he's a leader of the team. He's pretty much the final puzzle piece to the whole entire puzzle. And if he's not there, I think it's more of an effect on the team and it's an effect on the team with Micah not being there. He's definitely a prominent leader in that locker room, but it's different when the quarterback is not there. Like we see with Dak missing the game he did last season.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So him not being at camp at the start of the season where the guys are trying to get the rhythm going, the guys trying to understand the playbook, you cannot not have your quarterback there. So it is
correct.
Having your star pass rusher vice your quarterback not being there. So I'm glad he went further to explain that. Like, hey, like, in case you want guys gonna be like, well, you went, he's supposed to be, following you and this, that, and the third. No, it's different for the quarterback. So I'm glad he went further to explain that.
Yeah, I'm glad that Dak, and because people be, well, Dak practicing, and Dak was like, one, I'm protected, and two, my job is dependent on everybody else's. It's all dependent on timing and route and all that stuff. So it's like, I can't afford to be missing time and expect to come out guns a-blazing. Like, that's just not a thing. But you know what I'm saying?
They really waited for CD the day before. They probably did Dak the morning of, to start the NFL season. So he can't afford to come out there. Okay, guys, let's play. Like, no, it would not work that way.
Imagine if Dak held out.
Come on now. Jerry, come on.
He would get crucified. But shout out to Swain, our guy Swain. We really appreciate your support. And Stephen White, I think we shouted you out, but y'all, we appreciate you so much, Steven. And everybody's in the chat. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. But as we get into this depth chart, what do you think? To me, it's not really any surprises.
Right.
The only thing that I will say is I don't know if this or has ever been here before in previous depth charts. So what were your overall thoughts on the depth chart, sis?
Pretty much like you said, like it's most of this is not a surprise, but I start with the running back room. Like I know we mentioned earlier that Sanders and Deuce, are definitely missing a lot of time, and I really want to see guys out there because I really think, like you said, they've had great camps. So I think I think that's kind of really what was depending on them. I don't say not depending on it, but I think they see the potential too. So they don't want to, move too fast and acting and looking outside the organization just yet. Even with the roster cuts possibly coming in the next couple of weeks, I think they see what they like. I think like what they seen from Sanders. I know Deuce. And just a quick side note. My heart kind of skipped when Shadi was talking about Deuce in the presser because he was like, we have some installs ready for Deuce and we have something that we want him to do, but when you're not, you're not available, we have other guys to take those snaps. And I was like, man, I hope he's not saying that, giving a knock for Deuce. So I just really hope that Deuce hopefully can come back quick, have a chance in his preseason, because I really think he has a lot to offer for this team. But I really think that, at least for the one, I saw with just the running back room, like I think that these two guys being out is a big factor in how they view this running game right now. So I think they'll give him a chance to kind of come back and maybe look at the first game, maybe the first two games, depending on how fast they can come back. And then I think they'll go from there. And as far as the wide receivers, like I think, something that we knew, and I mentioned earlier about, that the battle for wide receiver 3, I tweeted earlier this week. I see it as Mingo, Tolbert. I think in my opinion, we should look at Tolbert. I hate to say year to year because I know he was here last year with Shadi, but if we just look at as far as standalone camp this season, Tolbert hasn't been having a great camp, and I think I think maybe Shadi, maybe even some of Cowboys Nation is maybe looking at some of the things he did last season, which is warranted. But as far as the camp he's had so far, I'm not strongly impressed. He has dropped some passes. He has been beaten out by some defenders. You know what I'm saying? He did, although he was blindsided, he did get hit, and You know what I'm saying? I want to see him step up. I want to see him step up in this preseason to show that he has that wide receiver 3 on lock. And I know he has, guys on his neck like Mingo, even Turpin, showing that a lot in scrimmage. I want to see him kind of step up and have a strong preseason. Because I think number one, he needs to show it because I don't think he has it on lock just yet. And I feel like we should be, treating his wide receiver room all across the board as, how are you doing in this camp? Because with a, first year head coach, I want to look at you like, it's a brand new year for everybody across the board.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, sis. I think that Tolbert, it's like, now he had some good catches yesterday, but even with Tolbert, Tolbert to me has not shifted into that next level. Even when he led the wide receiver group with touchdowns and stuff like that, it's like, but how is he getting those touchdowns? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's, I just want to see Tolbert win with contested catches. Now, I think he had a pretty good scrimmage yesterday from what I saw. I think he had a pretty good scrimmage besides him getting bullied or getting, blindsided pushed. I think especially I think it was in like the 2-minute drill. Dak was going to him back to back to back and he was catching. True. So Tolbert is doing decent, but you would like to see more. When you look at somebody like Avante Turpin, we already talked about him, but it looks like the battle that Shotty is really thinking of is, but he did say in the press conference, it's a 3-way tie right now between Tolbert, Turpin, and Mingo.
Yeah.
So they're really battling now to see who is going to get more snaps at that wide receiver 3 position. So Tolbert, I think you really do got to push it. I think you got to be able to perform better, buddy, because right now, Jonathan Mingo, he's not dropping anything. He's bigger than you. He looks to be faster than you and a more crisp route runner.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be continuing to watch this battle. Even though I love Turp, I already said, I think Turp, we got to use him in various roles. We can't just lock him in at the wide receiver position because of his frame and body type. Like, we just have to be smart with how we use it, we use Turpin. He's definitely going to be a integral part of our offense, but it's how. So I really see the wide receiver 3 battle between Tolbert and Mingo. If that's what I see, the battle really between Tolbert and Mingo.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. I don't think anything else is really too shocking. Like you said about the running backs, Javonte Williams being first kind of shocked me just because I know many people projected him to be the starter, but it just seemed like at camp he wasn't having like a crazy camp or anything like that. Yeah. But we did talk about how the front office and the coaching staff targeted him because we signed him the first day of free agency.
Right.
So I think that in order to implement our physical vision, he's the best back that fits that along with Maffa, but Maffa is just a rookie that has to steadily develop. Yeah. But, when you talk about somebody like Deuce Vine versus Jadon Blue, they are basically intertwined. And Shotty said they see Deuce. Deuce is a running back / slot wide receiver. So, like you said, they have these packages for Deuce. Shotty said Deuce is shame on the Dallas Cowboys media because they put this quote out like it was about Turpin and it was about Deuce when Shotty was saying that his IQ and stuff is off the charts. He was talking about Deuce. Shout out to Nick Harris because Nick Harris actually asked the question, but he said that Deuce is off, his IQ is off the charts and basically they have all these packages for him, but he's just missing time because of the injury. So I really wish, because I think Deuce could have possibly, if he was practicing, Deuce would probably be in that third spot opposed to Jadon Blue. But because Deuce is not practicing, Jadon Blue has been performing well.
Right.
That's where you see the discrepancy. Also, what I look at when you talk about these wide receivers because of course who wide receiver 1, the wide receivers is already going to make the team. But when you talk about these guys at the bottom of the depth chart, Jalen Brooks is not looking good for you, buddy.
Right.
Jalen Brooks, you behind Ryan Flournoy.
And I'm surprised
at that. You've been here longer than Flournoy.
Right.
Behind Ryan Flournoy. That's not a good sign. And then when you look at the defense, the fact that Jay is already second team, I feel like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially over Perion Winfrey, they already feel like Jay is second team.
Right. And Daxon, who's been here for a couple of years,
right? And Daxon too. So it's like you last on the depth chart. These when you see guys last on the depth chart, you're gonna continue to look at them after each preseason game. But then look, they also got our guy Donovan Ezeraku last on the depth chart, and we know damn well he ain't getting cut. He ain't no damn depth chart. So sometimes you just are in a stacked room, and they just have to line things up that way. That doesn't mean that you're not performing well, because I put him on the thumbnail because he was talking about like, I should have had plenty of sacks and tackles for loss, but we ain't tackling. But he was like, I'm excited for preseason though. So clearly he's gonna be out there preseason. So I'm really excited to see what he's gonna bring to the table.
Yeah.
Also, something that just to look at when it comes to the linebackers with Maris Leofau and Damone. I can see why they're in a battle, because Damone has been looking real good, but Maris has also been looking real good.
Yeah, his speed, he's really putting his speed on display. He's constantly attacking the ball. If anything, every time I look up, Leofau was punching at that ball, trying to get the ball out, or running to the sideline after the receiver. Like he's all over the field, and I like that. Like his awareness on the field is definitely on display. I love that. But like you said, I like what Damone is showing. I like that he's showing progression. I like that he's showing pop in camp. Now I want to see it translate to the preseason, but I'm excited about it as well, to see if he can kind of maintain this this tear, if you will, that he's on. And one thing I want to point out, I tweeted this out, Keemon Hall, he's right now.
Talk about it, sis. I know
right now.
You love Keemon Hall.
Yes, man. I love the camp he had last season. Love the preseason that he had last season. So that's really what I'm looking forward to see how because shout out to 2Y, Miss Aisha Morrison. She said she had a short conversation with him about. He was speaking about, in terms of the Rams and the scrimmage yesterday, about the motion that they were using at the line of scrimmage. He said that was something that, I know that's something Shotty's kind of implementing more this season, but not saying the Cowboys aren't used to it, but let's be honest, they're not used to necessarily practicing against it in the previous season. So it's great that, number one, for me, Shotty bringing that aspect into practice, so that way they weren't necessarily caught up completely off guard, going up against the Rams. But now it kind of gets them ready when they do face them on Saturday and going forward when they do face the teams like the Ravens. I know it's preseason, but teams like the Ravens who do use motion from time to time, or even when you get into the season, when you get against those quick teams, if he does end up starting or making that position, he'll be ready. I think, in my opinion, I think he has that short area quickness at the line of scrimmage. I've seen him play nickel, and also coverage too. He had a decent preseason. I think he had an either near interception or had an interception in preseason. I think he had interception in camp, a couple of interceptions in camp last season. So I think he can. He's my dark horse, of course. But seeing him ahead of Israel, is a problem. I'm definitely shocked. A little shocked to see that.
I'm shocked.
He has that length.
I'm shocked at that.
I want to see Izzy kind of step up as far as covering tight ends, because he has been kind of getting blown up. But one thing I want Izzy to kind of improve on in coverage is not turning around so much. When he kind of goes up, he doesn't. As far as his change of direction, I want to see if he can kind of go backwards and maybe kind of follow some of these receivers as opposed to going up and turning around, because you can lose a lot and just that split second and turning around trying to in coverage. So I just want to see improvements from both of them, not just because Keemon is ahead of Izzy, but I want to see improvements from both of them, because a lot is I don't say a lot is I don't know if it's vice versa. They want to determine where they want to place Bland, and then they want to deal with everybody else, or if they want to see what they have with everybody else and then decide where they want to place Bland. So I just hope that they can get this figured out soon, because I want either Keemon or Izzy to be able to kind of play that slot position, so we can have, just in case, have Bland on the outside, because as you guys see in the scrimmage and some of these practices, we're still kind of finding a losing battle as far as coverage and safety play and our DB play. Of course, we know with the injuries, but I definitely want to see some better coverage, from our secondary. So I love seeing that from Keemon. I want to see a great preseason from him, Izzy as well. And just as far as the rest of the defense, and this is just one small point. Last point I want to make I heard from Girls Talk, Boys Talk. They said, I kind of agree with them. Maybe some of our DBs aren't on the team yet. Maybe we can look forward to some of the roster cuts throughout the league, because shout out to Christy Scale. She said that not only are these guys in competition with the rest of the guys on the team, but they're also in competition with the other 31 teams. Possibly we can see some other guys out there throughout the preseason. So hopefully we can just shore up this DB room. You know what I'm saying? Because that's still one of our glaring weaknesses going into the preseason, in my opinion.
I agree, because you see 3 of our best corners are on IR.
Correct. Oh my
And
gosh.
then I mean, Elam has been having a hell of a camp. I'm really excited to see him in preseason. Booth as
too.
well. Booth seems like he been having a good.
I
camp
gotta give
as
him
well.
credit. Facts, sis.
So it'll be interesting. I am shocked to see Keemon Hall beat out Izzy, but Izzy, that just means you got to fight harder. I don't think Izzy's going to be cut because I think we're going to more so use Izzy as like a Swiss Army knife.
Facts.
So I think Izzy's still going to get reps, but I still would prefer for you to be in the front runner seat than the second team. So
and
you got to practice.
Some players are better when you kind of utilize them in more than one position. So he made
right, exactly. I think Izzy is going to be doing a lot of different things. Probably could see him making a lot of contributions on special teams as well.
Yes, that part.
But yeah, I mean, of course, guys, this is just the unofficial depth chart. It don't mean shit. We don't know what this gonna look like week 1. This is just what they throwing out there for preseason. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll be excited. We got a preseason game. Got to wrap this up. But yeah, we have preseason game this Saturday, so it'll be really. I'm gonna be tuning in and watching all of these battles. But I really appreciate y'all rocking with us. Thank y'all so much. Please make sure y'all are liking the streams on both of our channel. Subscribing, since you can put up our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels if you haven't already, and also subscribe. I'm sorry. Like, what did I say? Like, share. Yeah, subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. So please help us out with that, guys. We really appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us in the chat. Yeah, and we hope to see y'all again next week.
Yes, really appreciate you guys. Thank you for your time. Son, you got to bounce, but thank you, everybody. Make sure you guys check us out next week. Preseason this Saturday, you guys. Make sure you guys tune in. All right. I'll see you later, sis. See you guys later. You guys have a great night.